As the war with Iran enters its third week now, the surge in global oil prices is sparking recession jitters. And American consumers are paying more and more at the pump is just one example of where prices are headed. Gas prices have climbed 23% since the start of the war. What is your assessment of how President Trump has handled the rise in oil prices so far, their messaging and their attempts to try to manage it?
Well, there's no question that in planning this insurgence, exploration, whatever you want to call it, that risk was always on the table. But history tells you something, regardless of the administration, and here are the numbers. In order to really spike a recession, you need to keep oil prices between $90 and $100 for at least 3 months. You know that from decades past data. And so this is obviously a reaction to the closing of the Strait of Hormuz, and everybody knows that. But you really ask yourself, will this be the status in 90 days? And I'm guessing, and I think the administration's betting on it, that won't be the case, because it's not just American pain. Oil is the only commodity on earth used in every single sector of everybody's economy everywhere, even adversaries, even the Russians, even the Chinese. And so it's in no one's interest to have this happen. And if you look at the Panama Canal or the Suez Canal, those problems were worked out a long time ago. And now what we need here is a coalition of countries to basically take control of that 2-mile stretch. There's an area of that area in that canal, and that is basically 2 miles wide that all the ships pass through, and the Iranians are planning on mining that. Whether they've done it or not, we don't know. But my point is, let's say that costs, and I know these sound like a lot of dollars, but let's say that costs $2 billion a month for multiple countries that are interested, and everybody is, to pay for that on an ongoing perpetual basis so that no rogue country ever can take control of this very important waterway. That's a rounding error in the global economy. Even the war itself, and I'm going to get criticized for saying this, let's say it costs $20 billion, $25 billion, $30 billion by the time it's over. Let's say it's 90 days, whatever. A rounding error in the trading value of our allies that we sell goods and services and energy and technology to. It's all a rounding error. Now, I know that doesn't sound right in the context of how much money it is, but it really is a rounding error. And so it's better to solve this problem once and for all. And I'm against war. I hate civilians getting involved. But this rogue nation for almost 60 years has been doing this every 12 months. At some point, it's got to end. It happens to be this administration. I'm not pro or con Trump. I'm just saying, finally, someone's done something about it, and they've got to fix it. And in the end of the day, I believe what you will have is a coalition of the willing patrolling the Strait of Hormuz, and no rogue vessel or mine or missile or helicopter or plane will get near it, because it'll get shot down. And that's going to cost a lot of money, but every cent.
The president has said on social media today that he's basically calling on, and you can list out the nations that he's calling on in order to step up and help patrol and protect the Strait of Hormuz. One of them you mentioned is China. He says he's hoping China is going to send help. Iran has sent something like at least 11 million barrels of oil to China since the war began. What's the incentive for China to work with the United States at this point when it comes to Hormuz?
Oil. Can't run an economy without it. They need it. They have to have it, or they'll have the same problems everybody else is having, spiking prices in perpetuity. And so we have a mechanism. Trump's not a big fan of the United Nations, but it's been used before. I'll give you an example. In the late 60s, when the war broke out with a NATO country, although at that time I don't think they were NATO, it was Turkey versus Greece on the island of Cyprus. All the coalition of the United Nations sent boots on the ground, and I think they're still there. And they have been keeping the peace on that line across that island for decades, and it worked. There's no wars in Cyprus anymore, and the Turks and the Greeks live together.
But is that what it's going to take, Kevin? It's going to take boots on the ground for an undetermined, undefined, indefinite period of time in order to protect the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, except it's not one country. The United Nations funds that peacekeeping effort. I mean, think about it this way. Give me one country, even North Korea, that can live without oil. It's a unique situation. It's a unique commodity. Everybody has a stake in this. And lately, by attacking its own neighbors, Iran is, I can't believe what they did in the UAE. I've got a lot of staff over there. I talk to them every 8 hours. it's still raining drones over there, most of them getting shot down. But our own office, the side of the wall, the ADGM, got hit by debris. So we're not finished there yet. And that they haven't done much damage in terms of oil production, but they're not making any friends in the region. So when you pass the hat to these oil-producing nations and say, hey, it's $2 billion a month, and I'm guessing that number, I don't care if it's $4 billion a month, whatever it costs, it's worth it in the context of a global economy for a commodity that's used in every single sector. Every single sector needs this commodity. And something else to think about, and I know it's on a lot of investors' minds that have put money to work in alternative energy, it didn't work. We spent billions of dollars on wind and solar as an insurance policy for exactly times like this. Does not work. We need oil, unfortunately, whether you like it or you don't, and this is proof positive. So going forward, I think you're going to see very pro-hydrocarbon policy all around the world because of this event. And wind and solar, I have no problem with it, but governments are going to stop subsidizing it because it just doesn't work.